Hi guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm going to read passages from some of my all-time favorite books, all in an effort to hook you, because I want you to love them as much as I love them, and I want you to give them a try. With my number one book, Bronze Horseman, Paulina Simons, I haven't talked about this in about 6 years since I read it last. I've continued reading the series most of the way-ish through the third book. Yeah, this first book, I still think about it while I'm reading the third one, and I find myself wanting to go back and just read more from it. It's just so good. I'm gonna not gush for 20 minutes about this. I'm just gonna read you the first introduction. I will say though, with this, it's really just getting through that first chapter. It's a lot of name information. Everyone has nicknames, and if you're not familiar with Russian culture, which I wasn't either, lots of nicknames. It's a very prevalent thing, and they don't say grandmother or grandfather. They have Deda and babushka. It's information in the beginning. But once you get past that first chapter, you are never going to be able to put it down. It's so addicting. Instead of weighing this down with an in-depth summary, I'm going to link reviews to all of these books, which I have below. So chapter 1, The Field of Mars. Light came through the window, trickling morning all over the room. Tatiana Metanova slept the sleep of the innocent. The sleep of restless joy, of warm white Leningrad nights, of jasmine June. But most of all, intoxicated with life, she slept the exuberant sleep of undaunted youth. She did not sleep for much longer. When the sun's rays moved across the room to rest at the foot of Tatiana's bed, she pulled the sheet over her head, trying to keep the daylight out. The bedroom door opened, and she heard the floor creak once. It was her sister Dasha. Daria, Dasha, Daneshka, Dashka. She represented everything that was dear to Tatiana. Right now, however, Tatiana wanted to smother her. Dasha was trying to wake her up and, unfortunately, succeeding. Dasha's hands were vigorously shaking Tatiana while her usually harmonious voice was dissonantly hissing, "Psst, Tanya, wake up, wake up!" Tatiana groaned. Dasha pulled back the sheet. Never was their 7-year age difference more apparent than now, when Tatiana wanted to sleep and Dasha was, "Stop it," Tatiana muttered, fishing helplessly for the sheet and pulling it back over her. "Can't you see I'm sleeping? What are you, my mother?" The door to the room opened. 2 creaks on the floor. It was her mother. "Tanya, you awake? Get up now." Tatiana could never say that her mother's voice was harmonious. There was nothing soft about Irina Metanova. She was small, boisterous, and full of indignant, overflowing energy. She wore a kerchief to keep her hair back from her face, for she had probably already been down on her knees washing the communal bathroom in her blue summer frock. She looked bedraggled and done with her Sunday. "What, Mama?" Tatiana said, not lifting her head from the pillow. Dasha's hair touched Tatiana's back. Her hand was on Tatiana's leg, and Dasha bent over as if to kiss her. Tatiana felt a momentary tenderness, but before Dasha could say anything, Mama's grating voice intruded. "Get up quick. There's going to be an important announcement on the radio in a few minutes." Tatiana whispered to Dasha, "Where were you last night? You didn't come in till past dawn." "I can't help it," Dasha whispered with pleasure. "That last night dawn was at midnight? I came in at the perfectly respectable hour of midnight." She was grinning. "You were all asleep. Dawn was at 3 and you weren't home." Dasha paused. "I'll tell Papa I got caught on the other side of the river when the bridges went up at 3. "Yes, you do that. Explain to him what you were doing on the other side of the river at 3 in the morning." Tatiana turned over. Dasha looked particularly striking this morning. She had unruly dark brown hair and an animated, round, dark-eyed face that had a reaction for everything. Right now, that reaction was cheerful exasperation. Tatiana was exasperated herself, less cheerfully. She wanted to continue sleeping. She caught a glimpse of her mother's tense expression. What announcement? Her mother was taking the bedclothes off the sofa. "Mama, what announcement?" Tatiana repeated. "There is going to be a government announcement in a few minutes, that's all I know," Mama said doggedly, shaking her head as if to say, "What's not to understand?" Tatiana was reluctantly awake. Announcement. It was a rare event when music would be interrupted for the word from the government. "Maybe we invade Finland again," she rubbed her eyes. "Quiet," said Mama. "Or maybe they invaded us. They've been wanting their borders back ever since losing them last year." "We didn't invade them," said Dasha. "Last year I went to get our borders back, the ones we lost in the Great War. And you should stop listening to adult conversations." "We didn't lose our borders," Tatiana said. "Comrade Lenin gave them away freely and willingly. That doesn't count." "Tanya, we are not going to war with Finland. Get out of bed." Tatiana did not get out of bed. Latvia then? Lithuania? Belarusia? Didn't we just help ourselves to them too after the Hitler-Stalin Pact? Tatiana Georgievna, stop it. Her mother always called her by her first and patriotic names whenever she wanted to show Tatiana she was not in the mood to be fooled with. Tatiana pretended to be serious. What else is left? We already have half of Poland. I said stop, Mama exclaimed. Enough of your games. Get out of bed. Daria, get that sister of yours out of bed. Dasha did not move. Growling, Mama left the room. Turning quickly to Tatiana, Dasha whispered conspiratorially, I've got to tell you something. Something good? Tatiana was instantly curious. Dasha usually revealed little about her grown-up life. Tatiana sat up. Something great, said Dasha. I'm in love. Tatiana rolled her eyes and fell back onto the bed. Stop it, Dasha said, jumping on top of her. This is serious, Tanya. Yes, all right. Did you meet him yesterday when the bridges were up? She smiled. Yesterday was the third time. Tatiana shook her head, gazing at Dasha, whose joy was infectious. Can you get off of me? No, I can't get off you, Dasha said, tickling her. Not until you say I'm happy, Dasha. Why would I say that? Exclaimed Tatiana, laughing. I'm not happy. Stop it. Why would I be happy? I'm not in love. Cut it out. Mama came back into the room carrying 6 cups on a round tray and a silverware samovar, an urn with a spigot used for boiling water for tea. You two stop at once. Did you hear me? Yes, Mama, said Dasha, giving Tatiana one last hard tickle. Ouch, said Tatiana as loudly as possible. Mama, I think she cracked my ribs. I'm going to crack something else in a minute. You're both too old for these games. Dasha stuck her tongue out at Tatiana. Very grown up, Tatiana said. No, you're only 2. Dasha's tongue remained out. Tatiana reached and grabbed the slippery thing between her fingers. Dasha squealed. Tatiana let go. What did I say? Mama bellowed. Dasha leaned over and whispered to Tatiana, wait until you meet him. You've never met anyone so handsome. You mean better looking than Sergei, who you tortured me with. Didn't you tell me he was so handsome? Stop it, hissed Dasha, smacking Tatiana's leg. Of course, Tatiana grinned. And wasn't that just last week? You'll never understand because you're still an incorrigible child. There was another smack. Mama yelled. The girls stopped. Tatiana's father, Grigory Vasilyevich Metinov, came in. A short man in his 40s, he sported a full head of untidy black hair that was just beginning to turn salt and pepper. Dasha got her curly hair from Papa. They walked past the bed, glanced vacantly at Tatiana, her legs still under the sheets, and said, Tanya, it's noon. Get up, or there's going to be trouble. I need you dressed in 2 minutes. That's easy, Tatiana replied, jumping up out of the bed and showing her family that she was still wearing her skirt and shirt from yesterday. Dasha and Mama shook their heads. Mama nearly smiled. Papa looked away toward the window. What are we going to do with your Irina? Nothing, Tatiana thought. Nothing as long as Papa looks the other way. I need to get married, Dasha said, still sitting in bed, so I can finally have a room of my own to get dressed in. You're joking, said Tatiana, jumping up and down on the bed. You'll just be in here with your husband. Me, you, and him, all sleeping in the same bed with Pasha at our feet. Romantic, isn't it? Don't get married, Danishka, her mother said absent-mindedly. Tanya is right for once. We don't have room for him. Her father said nothing, turning on the radio. Their long, narrow room had one full bed on which Tatiana and Dasha slept, one sofa on which Mama and Papa slept, and one low metal cot in which Tanya's twin brother Pasha slept. His cot was at the foot of the other girls' bed, so Pasha called himself their little foot dog. Tatiana's grandparents, Babushka and Deda, lived in the adjacent room, joined to theirs by a short hallway. Occasionally Dasha would sleep on the small sofa in the hallway if she came in late and didn't want to disturb her parents, and thereby get into trouble the next day. The hall sofa was only about 1.5 meters long, more suitable for Tanya to sleep on, since she was just over 1.5 meters long herself. But Tatiana didn't need to sleep in the hall because she rarely came in late, whereas Dasha was a different story. Where's Pasha? Tatiana asked. Fishing breakfast, Mama replied. She couldn't stop moving. While Papa sat on the old sofa, still as a building, Mama bustled all around him, picking up empty packs of cigarettes, straightening books on the shelves, wiping down the little table with her hand. Tatiana continued to stand on the bed. Dasha continued to sit. The Metinovs were lucky, and they had 2 rooms and a sectioned-off part of the communal hallway. 6 years earlier, they had built a door in the partition at the very end of the corridor. It was almost like having an apartment of their own. The Elinkos down the hall had to sleep 6 to a large room off the corridor. Now that was unlucky. The sunshine filtered in through the billowing white curtains. Tatiana knew there would be only an instant, a brief flicker of time that bathed her with the possibilities of the day. In a moment, it would all be gone, and in a moment, it all was. Still, that sun streaking through the room, the distant rumble of buses through the open window, the slight wind. This was the part of Sunday that Tatiana loved most, the beginning. Pasha walked in with Deda and Babushka. Despite being Tatiana's twin, he looked nothing like her. compact, dark-haired boy, a smaller version of their father, he acknowledged Tatiana by casually nodding in her direction and mouthing, "Nice hair." Tatiana stuck out her tongue. She just hadn't brushed and tied it up yet. Pasha sat on his low cot and Babushka snuggled next to him because she was the tallest of the Metanovs. The whole family deferred to her in all matters except matters of morality, in which everyone deferred to Deda. Babushka was imposing, no-nonsense, and silver-haired. Deda was humble, dark, and kind. He sat next to Papa on the sofa and murmured, "It's something big, son." Papa nodded anxiously. Mama continued to clean anxiously. Tatiana watched Babushka stroke Pasha's hair. "Pasha," Tatiana whispered, crawling to the edge of the bed and pulling on her brother. "Want to go to Terroride Park later? I'll beat you in war." "Dream on," says Pasha. "You'll never beat me." The radio began to make a series of clicking sounds. It was 12:30 p.m. on June 22nd, 1941. "Tanya, be quiet and sit down," Papa ordered his daughter. "It's about to begin, Irina. You too. Sit." Comrade Vasilyevich Molchanov, Joseph Stalin's foreign minister, began. I would read this, but it kind of goes a bit, and I want to hook you and not drag you. So I'm going to Cliff Notes this. It's essentially the declaration for war. And then as they're all scrambling and doing different things in preparation, that's when the story very much picks up. So if you made it to this point with me, you can kind of pick up on your own, and I promise you won't have a problem keeping going. It's so good. It gave me chills as I'm rereading it. Next, I'm going to read a little piece from Hollywood Park by Mikhail Jolet. It's the story of a young boy as he grows up, having escaped a cult when he was a small boy, but there's a lot of emotional baggage that accompanied that. He lives with his mother. She was very damaged from the cult, and he was very abandoned in the cult because they didn't have parents there, so all the children lived in an orphanage, basically. It really goes into kind of the psychology of how the things that happen to you in your formative years can have an impact on you. It was very well done. And the writing is stunning, and that's what I really want to show you, so I'm going to go ahead and read some. Ancient cities to the east. We were never young. We were just too afraid of ourselves. No one ever told us who or what we were going to do or where our parents went. They would arrive like ghosts, visiting us for a morning, an afternoon. They would sit with us or walk around the grounds, to laugh or to cry or toss us in the air while we screamed. Then they'd disappear again, for weeks, for months, for years, leaving us alone with our memories and dreams, our questions, our confusion, the wide open places where we were free to run like wild horses in the night. It happened all at once. My brother and I sitting naked in the bath, playing with our toy boats, listening to the music and the sound of the muffled voices from the next room. We are swaddled in red and green woolen blankets and ready for sleep, story time. Pajamas, the rubbing of tired eyes. Good night, canyon. Good night, mountain. Good night, building. Good night, stars. Crayons are put away, cubbies cleaned, teeth brushed. I drift to sleep and am rattled awake, surprised to see my mother's face with her shaved head, her hazel green eyes, her round Dutch cheeks, and crooked yellow coffee-stained teeth. "Hi, Goo. Wake up. We have to leave. It's not safe here." I've been told this woman's name is Mom. That's what I'm told to call her. I know the word is supposed to have some kind of special meaning. She comes to visit me. She's sadder than the others. She wears overalls and squeezes me and talks about how she misses me, her eyes forever darting around the room like a nervous bird. My eyes are filled with sleep, my head heavy, but I'm tired. Bonnie and Clubby are the other women. They're with me every day. They're funny. They talk in strange voices and always have a game to play or a slice of apple or crackers and juice. They call me Son. Pronounced son, in a low baritone on account of my deep voice, round belly, and overbite that make my top lip stick out in a funny way. They always said they could just eat my face. They're big and soft like warm pillows that I can fall into. Clubby talks in a strange way that doesn't use any R's. "Well, what do you think, kid? You gonna get in your jammies or what?" She says it's because she's from a place called New York, or New York, which is far away from California. The woman I'm told to call Mom cries when she comes to visit. She reads me a book or walks me around the compound, the big gold field, or I sit in her lap and she sings songs with words I don't understand. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. She combs my hair, tells me she misses me. "Don't be sad, Mom," I tell her. I tell her that most of all. Don't be sad all the time. She stares at me when I eat like she's trying to memorize something. Fucking hell. Like she's about to say something, but decides not to. "I love you, Goo, my little boy." Tears fall from her eyes on the blib of her clean blue overalls. Everyone wears overalls here. I have 3 pairs. Then she disappears again, and I find Clubby and Bonnie, and we laugh and build things out of popsicle sticks or play hide and seek with the other kids until bath time. Then song time singing. There's a land that I see where the children are free. Then bedtime comes and stories of dragons and castles and baby birds and moons that talk to children and children who talk to cats and blue butterflies that talk to lions, and then they say goodnight to me. To Cassidy, to Guy, to Dimitri, my best buddy, then Noah. When I wake up, when all the other kids are still sleeping, Mom shakes me and says, we have to go now, you have to be quiet, honey. I tell her I need some water. She has a look I've never seen, and I feel my chest sink into itself, like there's something sharp and hot at the bottom of my throat. What about Clubby and Bonnie? Shh, we can write to them, I promise. She picks me up. The other kids are fast asleep. There's a soft yellow light coming from the doorway of the bathroom with a low toilet next to the craft table. Debbie, who watches over us at night, stands next to the woman I am told to call Mom. She looks scared. My brother Tony is in the doorway, already dressed, his arms crossed. His head is shaved just like mine. Where are we going, Mom? My throat is dry and I feel a blankness spreading from my stomach, over my chest, going out over my arms and legs to my fingers and toes. To the car, to go see Grandma and Grandpa. A car? I don't understand. I've seen cars driving in and out of the long driveway at the front of the building, but I've never been in one. They look so big and fast. I wonder if it will feel like flying. When Dad comes to visit, he rides a loud 2-wheeled car called a motorcycle. He leans back on the seat with his hands on the handlebars, which makes him look exactly like he's floating on air. The world is as big as the playground, the field, the forest on the far side of the road, and this room where I sleep with Dimitri and Cassidy after song time, as big as Clubby and Bonnie and their funny voices and tomato soup and toast. The woman I'm told to call Mom is looking for my shoes. Debbie goes to the cubby closet and opens the door to the cubby where I keep my overalls, underwear, socks, and the baseball Dad gave me signed by Steve Garvey, who is a professional baseball player. Dad likes baseball, I think. I have a bag where I keep my toothbrush and yellow plastic comb that's too big for my shaved head. I have marbles and chalk and the pictures I drew with Bonnie on construction paper. I don't have toys. None that are mine anyway. All the kids have to share our toys, and no one can even keep a bike if someone brings you one. Debbie puts my things in a paper bag and hands them to Mom. We start for the door. Wait, Mom, no one will know where I am when they wake up. It's okay, sweetie. Shut up, dummy, Tony says. Shh, Mom pulls him to her hip. But why do we have to leave? She lets out a deep breath, puts me on the ground, gathers us up like a mother hen. She squints, holding her eyes closed tight, her hands over her forehead. Then she opens them and looks at me, grabbing my hands in hers. She reaches for Tony, but he turns away. Listen, I know you don't understand, but we need to leave right now, and we can't let anyone else find out, okay? So I need you guys to be quiet. We're going on an adventure. Her eyes move wildly from me to my brother, back to me. You can sleep in the car, and when you wake up, you'll be at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and we'll have Dutch rolls and cheese. There's no reasoning with her. I try to imagine what the house would look like. I've never left the school, which is what everyone calls this place. I wonder if it's got a big door. Mom once told me they have lots of music boxes, and Grandpa was crazy for small boxes that play music when you open them. I look at Tony's face for clues, but he's got his chin pressed against the door frame, holding the paper bag with his stuff in it. My head feels woozy, and my eyes fall to the buttons of Debbie's blue overalls. She's nice, but she's new. I miss Clubby, because she used to play with us at night, and would hold me if I had a bad dream and call me son. She would tell me we were safe here, all of us here in Synanon, living together, a great big family, a tribe of humans who love each other and love the world and love the little babies most of all. Debbie whispers something to Mom. Tony is mad. I'm told he's my brother. I see him on the playground, but he never plays with the other kids. He sits by himself. I sit by him sometimes, but I don't think he likes me because he pushes me and tells me to leave him alone. He's 3 years older, twice my size. People say we look a lot alike, but I don't see it. Mom picks us up. She seems so much like a giant bird, like she swooped down from the sky and got us. I want to tell her not to worry, that I can fly too. I'm strong enough, and sometimes when I'm dreaming, my ears get big like wings, and I can fly wherever I want. I just flap them and soar way up to the sky. I tell myself, remember, you have to remember this when you wake up. You can fly. And I'm remembering now because I just woke up and I want to tell her, but there's no time. She beats her wings and takes flight over the school and the playground and the yard and the field, the buildings, the entire Synanon compound, where we play games and ate and sang and sleep, where we heard the adults screaming through the speakers of the wire, the in-house radio with its crackle and hiss, letting us hear the sounds of people laughing, people crying, people yelling, people dancing, a jazz band playing music, the punk squad, the mean teenagers and their cursing and cuffed jeans getting punched in the face if they ever talk back. Every week one of them runs away and everybody gets so mad. The sound of Chuck, the old man, the leader, talking about things we don't understand. He says he loves us, but he's always so angry. And the bird, we are told to call her Mom, flapping furiously, eyes locked on some faraway point as she clutches her chicks and we fly over Tamales Bay and its streams draining into the Pacific Ocean, the giant redwoods on the hillside, the big waves crashing against the rocks on the coast, slowly breaking them into tiny pieces, fracturing them, pulling them apart until they're soft to the touch, portable and broken, easy to walk on, to place into a small plastic bag for a tourist visiting with sunburned ankles from some ancient city to the east. So that was chapter 1. Didn't plan on reading the whole thing, but here we are. It's really, really good. I'm not a memoir person, but I loved this. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. I will be doing a part 2. I like doing like these reading series, and I hope you guys like it too. If you have certain recommendations, I was thinking about doing like a genre specific one or an author specific one. Let me know if you have a preference. I will see you guys next time.